Throughout 2024, terrorism remained a serious threat to international peace and security. More than ever, cooperation is needed at all levels to address this global and constantly evolving challenge. Responding to member states' concern about the increasing terrorist violence in sub-Saharan Africa, UNOCT supported Nigeria in the organisation of the high-level African Counter-Terrorism meeting in Abuja in April 2024. Supporting counter-terrorism efforts of African member states remained a top priority, which was at the centre of the strategic dialogues with the State of Qatar, the European Union, and the Kingdom of Morocco. In 2024, UNOCT continued to provide policy leadership with the United Nations system to advance counter-terrorism efforts. The office supported member states in negotiations leading to the Summit of the Future. At this event, we co-hosted an Action Day session titled A Peaceful Future for All and participated in an interactive dialogue on enhancing multilateralism for international peace and security. During the general debate of the 79th session of the General Assembly, 116 member states highlighted terrorism and violent extremism conducive to terrorism, the highest number since 2019, confirming that counter-terrorism remains a top priority. Over the year, UNOCT organised 3 high-level events to foster international counter-terrorism cooperation. In June, UNOCT and the Kingdom of Morocco co-hosted the 3rd Marrakesh Platform, bringing together heads of counter-terrorism from 34 African member states and 18 international partners to coordinate responses to evolving threats on the continent. In October, UNOCT and Spain co-organised the International Conference on Victims of Terrorism, focusing on education as a tool for prevention, peace building, and the empowerment of victims. In response to the call to action from victims, UNOCT will launch the Victims of Terrorism Association Network in 2025. In November, UNOCT, the State of Kuwait, and Tajikistan co-organised the Kuwait phase of the Dushanbe Process Conference, bringing together over 500 representatives from member states, international and regional organisations, and civil society. They adopted the Kuwait Declaration on Border Security Management, committing to cross-regional collaboration and modern practices integrating human rights and international legal standards. Throughout the year, UNOCT delivered 12 briefings to member states, the Security Council, and its Counter-Terrorism Committee. The office also prepared 2 Security General reports on the threat posed by Daesh and UN support to counter it. As part of its advocacy and visibility efforts, the office supported the first International Day for the Prevention of Violent Extremism, as and when conducive to terrorism, on February 12th, and the 7th International Day of Remembrance of and Tributes to the Victims of Terrorism on August 21st. UNOCT communication efforts expanded in 2024, with nearly 1 million website views, 19 news publications, 13 new videos, and the social media reach of 32,000 followers and 214 million impressions. In 2024, the Global Counter-Terrorism Coordination Compact, led by UNOCT to promote a One UN approach, welcomed UN Habitat as its 46th member. The Compact, the largest coordination framework across the 3 pillars of work of the United Nations, helps to enhance collaboration within the UN system and with member states and civil society. The 10th meeting of the Compact Coordination Committee focused on the rising terrorism threat in Africa and the need for greater alignment with the UN's 2030 Agenda and the African Union's Agenda 2063. As part of its joint programme of work for 2024 to 2026, the Compact will launch a new working group on behavioural science and Quintet of Change. Its online coordination platform connected over 1,000 focal points and hosted more than 3,670 resource documents, supporting knowledge sharing and coordination. UNOCT continued to actively promote the United Nations Joint Appeal for Counter-Terrorism in Africa, as an example of regional coordination under the Compact, seeking resources for meaningful support on the ground. UNOCT joined IOM, UNODC, and Interpol to establish an integrated border stability mechanism secretariat in Dakar to help coordinate capacity building in West Africa. Several other joint initiatives in East and West Africa were launched to deepen the Compact partnership with the Global Counter-Terrorism Forum. In addition, UNOCT formalized 22 partnerships through Memoranda of Understanding and agreements with member states, international and regional organizations, parliamentary associations, and academic institutions. At the heart of these coordination efforts, UNOCT continue to work hand in hand with the Counter-Terrorism Committee Executive Directorate, ensuring relevant and results-orientated technical assistance. Capacity building was a cornerstone of UNOCT's work in 2024, benefiting 140 member states and over 4,400 individuals through 21 global and regional programs. This work was achieved by UNOCT's Counter-Terrorism Center and Special Projects and Innovation Branch, as well as 5 UNOCT program offices, 80 personnel deployed at 12 duty stations away from headquarters, and the active use of the office's Connect and Learn platform. In Africa, UNOCT stepped up its support with 15 programs, delivering 69 capacity building and training activities, benefiting 2,616 participants from 50 member states, a 15% increase compared to 2023. For instance, the Fusion Cells program trained 296 officials from 22 African states, while the Counter-Terrorism Investigation program training law enforcement was accredited as a university executive master's degree. The UN Programme on Countering Terrorist Threats to Vulnerable Targets supported Benin, Côte d'Ivoire, Mauritania, and Senegal in developing national action plans. The Global Programme on Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism Conducive to Terrorism, Youth Engagement and Empowerment Programme, or YEEP, equipped over 75 young leaders from Kenya, Nigeria, and Somalia to take an active role in their communities. Central Asia continues to be another priority region for partnership and support. In May, UNOCT and Uzbekistan co-organized the first Regional Expert Council meeting on the rehabilitation and reintegration of returnees. Together with UNODC, the office also provided training and equipment to Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan to investigate cases relating to trafficking in small arms and light weapons and terrorism. In line with the Pact for the Future, UNOCT strives to better address the opportunities and challenges offered by new and emerging technologies. In November, the UN Counter-Terrorism Center, together with Interpol and the European Union, launched the CT Tech Plus initiative to help law enforcement address the misuse of new technologies for terrorist purposes. In addition, the Global Programme of Autonomous and Remotely Operated Systems provided specialized training to law enforcement, drone operators, and border security officials in West Africa and Southeast Asia. In May, the global programs on counter-terrorism investigations and on preventing and countering violent extremism teamed up to organize an expert group meeting on video games and violent extremism. In June, the Kingdom of the Netherlands became the first member state to pilot the GoFintel software to counter the financing of terrorism. Guided by our strategic plan and results framework for 2022 to 2025, UNOCT continued to focus on impact and sustainability, achieving several milestones. The flagship UN Countering Terrorist Travel Programme, funded in cooperation with the Kingdom of the Netherlands and generously hosted by Hungary and Budapest, marked its 5th anniversary, and the Go Travel software is now fully operational in 4 of its 63 beneficiaries: Botswana, Georgia, Mongolia, and Norway. The EU UN Global Terrorism Threats Facility provided tailored technical assistance to address CTED's recommendations to 8 member states through mentoring, training, and light equipment. UNOCT launched its evaluation plan for 2024 to 2025 to showcase results-based delivery, strengthen accountability and evidence-based programming, and ensure impactful support to beneficiaries. 3 program evaluations were completed and are available online on border security and management, rehabilitation and reintegration, and sports. To strengthen quality assurance and oversight, UNOCT also adopted or revised internal guidance on program and project management and on data sharing. Throughout 2024, UNOCT placed human rights and gender equality at the forefront of its work. The office strengthened its implementation of the UN Human Rights Due Diligence Policy and met or surpassed 88% of the indicators in the UN System-Wide Action Plan on Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women. UNOCT's achievements were only possible through the generous contributions of our funding partners, accounting for 80% of the Office's 2024 annual budget. UNOCT is immensely grateful to the 28 funding partners that provided a total of $19.3 million in 2024. Our work in 2025 will pave the way for the 9th review of the Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy next year. Together with Austria and Peacebuilding Support Office of the Department of Political and Peacebuilding Affairs, we will conduct a series of dialogues on harmonizing the counter-terrorism and peacebuilding efforts of member states and United Nations entities. UNOCT looks forward to working with our partners to build a world free from terrorism.